Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back. A new chess lesson here. I'm Soren, your chess friend, and we're going to look in the next couple of minutes at Queen Endgames, which is not a very common occurrence, but I think it's good to have the right ideas in place, at least to be creating some advantageous positions and create your own chances and avoid any counterplay from your opponent. Now, in this position, assuming you're having the blacks here, it's important to understand that your opponent is actually threatening a checkmate right on h8 straight away. And also, they're having a very advanced pawn ready to promote into queen. So, black now cannot win this endgame. Now, good news is, although you cannot win with blacks, you can do a perpetual check, therefore you can draw. So this is very important. If you can't win, because the material is down, you're down in material, the position is not that glorious, perhaps you can find a way to draw by perpetual check. So that's an important thing for you to understand. Now, when you're looking at perpetual check, you always need to make sure you are not running out of checks and that you're able every single turn to give another check and another check and another check ad infinitum, so to say, until obviously not being possible any progress, you're going to draw. Here, for instance, you may see that, okay, I could do check here, I could do check here. Is there any difference? Absolutely, there is a difference, guys. If you play Queen C2, checking the king, you have to imagine, okay, I'm checking the king, right? What if they go on h3? Do I have any further checks? And upon verifying, you actually notice, oops, no, there is no other check. So I've got to find another way because, again, you mustn't run out of checks. If you do queen d2 and they play king h3, do you have any other available checks? Of course, yes, you do. There is the d7 square, so that allows you to check. And obviously, if the white king goes back, you're going to check them, and, you're going to generate a perpetual check here. So queen d2, h3, d7 check as we discussed, check again on the second rank, and check again. And check again, and that's exactly how you're doing a perpetual check, and you are going to draw. Okay? Don't be greedy. Be always very mindful. Although you can take that pawn, you mustn't lose sight of the fact that there is an incredibly powerful counterplay here, which actually results in you losing. So be very careful to making sure you keep checking that king. That's the way for you guys to not lose. And in some more optimistic scenarios, you actually win. You notice there is a pawn here on g6, which only needs to turns, 2 steps to be promoted into a queen. Now, there is a black queen keeping an eye on that pawn, so obviously there is no point in pushing it forwards. But there is another idea, and probably I hope you guys remember the in-between moves, or intermezzo, if you want to use Italian, or Zwischenzug, if you want to use the German. So you've got a check here, an in-between move. You're going to play it, and that's a very elegant, very shrewd one, because once they move away or they block, you potentially have another check here with the queen, and that does a couple of things. It serves a multi-purpose thing. Not just checks the king and protects the pawn from the black queen, but also stops any incoming checks on the diagonal a2, g8 from the black queen. So that's another good idea to keep in mind. It happens. So now you're absolutely able to pushing, get yourself a queen, and that's it, you're winning. Okay, so now we're looking at a position that happened in 2015 in between Anand with white, the former world champion, and Magnus Carlsen. Many consider him the strongest chess player in history. Okay, arguably. So now, let's look at this position here. How many of us wouldn't say, hold on a second now, I'm getting checked by the black queen, I just want to play f3. That's exactly what Anand fought and played. Unfortunately, because the way for white to win is just simply playing king g5. But normally you just don't want to do that because you're thinking it's like an infinite bunch of checks coming. But it's not. Because after check here on d2, you're just going to go g6. If there is another one here, you're going to play h6, for instance. There is another check here. Then you're going to play f4. And you're doing absolutely incredibly fine and safe. No more checks. On the contrary, now you're going to be hunting the other guy's king. And they need to be careful. Because if they're not on the d file, after you're pushing king, for instance, here, then you're able to determine a checkmate. So he should have played that. But hey, Given the nature of the blitz, you probably, being a human, because you're not a machine, you are missing on essential important moves. And it happens even to the best in time crisis to missing the most important stuff that needs to be played. So check now from the Black Queen. So Magnus very, very wisely checked, move to protect, takes, and now he marches down with the pawn, or up, depends how you look at the board. And if you remember the square promotion now, when you're moving here, this is your square. So this is the black pawn square. So the white king cannot stop that pawn from promoting, and you can't budge the black king here. You can't do nothing to make the black king move away so that you can promote your own guy. So it's very important to understand these concepts in the ending. The promoting square, always important, so it depends where your pawn is. Just draw a diagonal, just then move vertically, horizontally, vertically, horizontally. This is your square. The white king touches it or steps into it. They're going to stop it. They don't, you're going to win. As simple as that. So the game continued, but he just resigned at this stage. It's absolutely nothing you could do. Queen is going to be promoting before this guy reaches the end of the board. Okay. This position here, again, you play with white, and you are in a bit of a trouble here because the other guy has like 3 pawns, and the most painful thing, they've got a passer, a passed pawn, unopposed by any other white pawn, and they are going to come down, and you can't stop that from happening. Therefore, remember, my chess friends, you need to do perpetual checks here. Absolutely perpetual checks. So let's think, what do we have the perpetual checks? Well, you need to go right at the very back, on the back rank, boom, check. Very good move. You checking the king. Now, you need to find another one. Can you find a sequence here in which you can just check the king again and again and again? Let's see if we can find it together. Check. Again. Can you check? Of course you can. And you're going to go e8, h5, e8, h5, and there is no other way for them to be responding to. Therefore, draw is assured at this point. But always you have to investigate and taking all precautions that you do not run out of checks. That's very important, my chess friends here. So let's see in the next exercise here, what can I possibly do with black? I love it because there is a very nice way for you guys to making sure that the queens come off the board, and then this guy will just simply going and becoming a queen. Very simple stuff. How do you get rid of your opponent's queen here? Would you want to pause the video for a couple of seconds and figure out, how do I get rid of the white queen? Well, by trading it with the black queen of yours. And what can be played here to forcing the queen's exchange? Let me have another sip of coffee here. Oh boy. Okay, cool. So there is something you could do, and that is very nicely queen to c4, which checks the king, attacking the white queen, forking. So now the black king takes the white queen, and there is absolutely impossible for the white king to stopping this guy, because you are going to moving down and, or up, depends how you look at this again, and that's it. You winning. Very well for black here. Black is totally winning. And I hope you haven't forgotten the queen and the king versus king checkmate. If you have forgotten, just go back to my older videos. You're going to find it there in the simple basic endgames. Shall we look at another one here? So what color am I here? I am playing with white. Let's see. I would like this guy of mine to becoming a queen, but there is one little detail I need to pay attention to. Namely, the black queen would be probably trying to check and weaken those pawns and keep checking. So I want to avoid getting a perpetual here, and you have a wonderful opportunity to avoid a perpetual check by playing, for instance, queen to c7, which is on the same dark square diagonal with the white king. Just give an example here. You cover all the squares here, so you can't be checked, and moreover you can then push that pawn 2 steps, separating you from queening that pawn. And you know, guys, 2 queens versus 1, you're gonna win. Shall we go for another one? Let's go for another one. What do we play here in this position? Let me think. Oopsie daisy, we've got a problem here. We definitely have a problem. This guy is gonna queen next turn. Oh no, am I losing? I'm not winning, but I'm not losing. That means I can draw. How do I draw in this position? Well, perpetual check. Remember, very important, the perpetual check here. You don't want to lose, right? No one wants to lose if you play chess. So let's look for perpetual checks. What checks have I gotten here? Well, I got one here. I got one here. So let me see, which one is it? Now, if I do this and then play this, can I do this then? But maybe I could do this too. Okay, I think I got an idea. I'm going to play this because I want to make sure actually I'm checking from this side, because that's very, very, very... If I go here and they go here, I still need to come back, right? Because I really need to get to C4. I'm going to explain why is that. You don't go here. I thought for a second, actually, I can go on F7, but no. You've got to go actually to C4 with the queen. Very important. Because if you go here, you're practically as good as dead. Because they're going to be blocking with the pawn. You can't attack this C2 pawn, and actually you are in deep trouble because they're gonna be promoting with check. They're gonna promote with check. You're toast. So you've got to play this check. What does that mean? If they block with the pawn, then you can just get this guy here. Okay, so now you've got a perpetual check. Now the king is gonna go back on the background. Remember, boom. Check again, and that's all you're gonna do. And good news is you're not gonna lose. So it's cool stuff, especially if you play a stronger opponent, a higher rated player, a title player, and you got yourself in this position. Okay, you're not winning, fine, you messed up somewhere, but hey, you're not losing. The other guy is gonna be a little bit frustrated, pissed off, but hey, it's cool stuff. So thanks for watching, guys, the Queen endings, and see you live on Twitch, YouTube, or Facebook. Search my social media, guys. The same Soren Chess Coach. And yeah, that's it. Twitch, live, YouTube videos. That's cool stuff. See you guys very soon.